Well, what now? We know that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to lead DC Studios, and the newly named DCU is kicking off its 10-year plan. So what's James Gunn need to do? So let's take a couple minutes to break that down, talk about what might be going on, and what I think he probably needs to do to get the DCU to the top of the heap. Well, the big news in the last week is the fact that James Gunn and Peter Safran will be leading DC Studios as co-CEOs. We've been hearing a long time about the potential 10-year plan, and now it's time for that to start moving forward. Now, Gunn kicked off his very first day with an interesting Superman tease in the form of a social media post. But the bigger picture is, what does he need to do with all these moving parts in order to get this train moving forward? Well, I have a couple of ideas. First and foremost, he needs to decide if they are going to be Marvel or not. I think this is key. Marvel Studios' success is unprecedented, but be clear, DC has had some major successes in their history. The Dark Knight, the Joker, and Aquaman were all billion-dollar movies, so they know how to do this properly. I think Gunn and his team need to decide how closely associated with what Marvel does they're going to be. DC Studios needs to stand on its own two legs, and although Marvel has paved the path to success, they need to trim that path with their own vision, style, and particularly stories. I think Gunn fully understands this, but his style is clearly a little lighter than the previous incarnations of DC movies, and I think he has to be careful not to make that too Marvel-like. DC heroes are some of the greatest in the world, and they don't need to do a lot except present them properly and give them their space to breathe. The fans will do the rest. I think this expands to all the projects he's working on, TV, film, and animation. There has been a lack of cohesion between it all, and it's something very key moving forward that they probably need to emulate from Marvel that has worked and will help define the universe and set up stories in a way that has not been done yet for DC characters. One of the next things I think he really needs to do is take care of these casting rumors and all the guessing going on with fans. We recently found out Henry Cavill is back as Superman, and this buzz has been a major positive story for DC Studios. But there is a lot going on elsewhere. I really do think they need to lock down who all these major characters are. We know who Superman is now, but who is going to be our DCEU Batman? Is it Pattinson? Is it Affleck? Is it something else? I also think in their leadership position, they need to decide what's going on with Ezra. All these decisions need to be made so that they can move forward with a clear plan. And quite honestly, all the dragging of the feet has created consistent problems and false rumors that have hindered the studio. Knowing who the heroes are is important, and this has been a long-term problem that I think Gunn needs to start his tenure off by solving. The next thing I think they clearly need to do is define a schedule for following up next year. Over the next 14 months or so, there's a ton of stuff coming out from DC. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and The Flash. And we all know The Flash is going to be the defining movie moving forward for the DCU. Gunn and Safran need to make sure fans absolutely know what to expect moving forward. They need a plan, and they need a plan people can count on. I do believe next year's con circuit is likely to be a big move for DC Films, and honestly, I would not be surprised if we see a very Kevin Feige-like presentation for the DCU from James Gunn himself next year at Comic-Con. These schedules build hype and set fan expectations properly, and DC Films quite honestly has been known for announcing movies only to cancel them later on or have them drift off into the ether never to be heard from again. These are things he needs to put a stop to in order to make sure fans really understand what DC Films is doing, and I do think it will be a priority for the managing duo. And then finally, I think they need to lock down a major storyline in this initial plan, and I actually think some of the pieces are already in place. I do believe whatever story they are forming up is likely to be built around Amanda Waller. She was a big part of Gunn's The Suicide Squad and even showed up in Peacemaker, and we know Gunn actually has plans for her during a spin-off. Her influence was also heavily felt in Black Adam, and I don't think they teased us with all those other containment cells for no reason. I believe the workings of a major storyline are already in place, and this storyline, potentially the trial of Amanda Waller, will indeed bring a lot of teams, characters, and events together on one page, allowing filing for that big crossover that DC Films needs, and that could redefine the future paths for all the characters involved. Now obviously they do have to be creatively successful. This means any of these projects and plans that are executed need to connect with fans, create a lot of positive buzz, and drive the franchise forward in a way that's profitable and exciting. I do think Gunn's experience is perfect to lead this charge. He knows how to handle superhero characters, build connection with the audience, and Safran's ability to manage projects really will make them a dynamic duo for DC Studios. Now, we're going to cover everything DC Studios on this channel, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to bring you all the updates, news, and schedules as soon as they drop. But until we know more, what do you guys think? What do you think James Gunn needs to do to get the DC 10-year plan moving forward? And what major project would you announce if you were currently in charge of DC Films? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.